In today's video, we'll be exploring 10 amazing ways Islam beat scientific discoveries. We have the origin of life. We all know that water is a basic need for life, and the Quran states, "We made every living thing from water." Will they not believe? In this ayah, water is pointed out as the source of life. Scientifically, all living things are made up of cells that are mostly made up of water. For example, 80% of the cytoplasm of an animal cell is described as water in biology textbooks. This fact was only discovered by scientists after the invention of the microscope, and yet here we see it stated in the Quran long before. Coming up next, we have iron. Iron is unnatural to the earth and came down from outer space. Scientists found that billions of years ago, the earth was struck by meteorites carrying iron from distant stars which had exploded. The Quran states, "We sent down iron with its great inherent strength and its many benefits for humankind." It is evident from this ayah that iron was sent down to earth for the benefit of humankind. Interestingly, this fact was acknowledged in the Quran way before it was discovered by scientists. Moving on to the sky's capacity to protect. The Earth's sky, or atmosphere, plays a crucial role in protecting life on Earth from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. It also insulates the Earth, keeping it warm and preventing extremes between day and night temperatures. The Quran states, "We made the sky a protective ceiling, and yet they are turning away from our sign." The Quran points to the atmosphere's protecting abilities as a sign of Allah long before they were discovered by scientific research in the 20th century. Let's talk about the mountains. The Quran makes reference to mountains, stating, "Did we not make the earth a resting place, and the mountains as stakes in the earth?" The Quran references the fact that mountains have deep roots by using the word stakes to describe them. A book titled Earth by geophysicist Frank Press explains that mountains are like stakes buried deep under the surface of the earth. This fact was not discovered by man until after the development of the theory of plate tectonics in the 20th century, and yet it is clearly referenced in the Quran. All right, this next one is a big one, the expansion of the universe. Before it was ever found in textbooks, the expansion of the universe was already described in the Quran, saying, "It is we who have built the universe with our creative power and keep expanding it." In his book, A Brief History of Time, physicist Stephen Hawking wrote, "The discovery that the universe is expanding was one of the great intellectual revolutions of the 20th century." Amazingly though, the Quran mentioned this fact long before Stephen Hawking's book. And coming in at the halfway point of today's video, we're going to be talking about the sun's orbit. In 1512 AD, astronomer Nicholas Copernicus theorized that the sun was motionless at the center of the solar system and that the planets revolved around it. It is now a well-established fact that the sun is moving in an orbit around the center of our Milky Way galaxy. The Quran mentions the orbit of the sun, stating, "It is He who created night and day, the sun and the moon, each floating in its orbit." Evidently, the Quranic account of the sun's motion is not only consistent with modern findings in astronomy, but it preceded them. Next, we have the existence of black holes. Anything that approaches a black hole disappears. These giant hidden stars sweep away anything in their way, including other stars, like a gigantic vacuum cleaner, as proven by Carl Schwarzschild in 1916 and Robert Oppenheimer in 1934. Allah said, So verily I swear by the stars that recede or disappear during the day and appear during the night, and by the cleaning stars that move swiftly and hide themselves, and by the night as it departs, and by the dawn as it brightens. Verily, this is the word brought by a most honorable messenger Gabriel from Allah to the Prophet Muhammad. The Quran describes black holes as being cleaners. This is in conformity with the scientific description, standing as evidence that the Quran is the true word of Allah and it came before science. Moving on to the depths of the seas and oceans. Britannica's encyclopedia states that oceans and deep seas are mostly covered by thick cumulus clouds, blocking large amounts of sunlight. The deeper the ocean, the darker it gets. Below a depth of 1,000 meters, no light can be seen. Scientists have discovered deep water fish that use luminous organs to survive in the darkness. In the 19th century, scientists discovered the existence of internal rough waves in deep seas, located in the surface, separating every 2 layers of water, differing in density, pressure, heat, and ebb and flow. Allah said, the unbeliever's state is like the darkness of a fathomless sea, which is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds, layers of darkness one upon the other. If he puts out his hand, he can scarcely see it. Those God gives no light to, they have no light. Allah makes reference to the experience of the non-believers by comparing it to the dark depths of the seas, while at the same time teaching about the miracle of his creation that even science had not yet discovered. Next, let's look at water masses once mixed that are still distinguishable. Around 1873, scientists discovered that the Atlantic Ocean, for example, contains waters of different characteristics, including differences in temperature, density, saltiness, marine life, and ability to absorb oxygen, all in one body of water. Allah said, He has let loose the 2 seas meeting together. Between them is a barrier which none of them can transgress. Then which of the blessings of your Lord will you both, jinn and men, deny? Out of them both come pearl and coral. In 1942, it was discovered that in certain seas, waters pile up, yet each retain their different composition and characteristics. Seawater moves in a way that makes water masses mix and intermingle. However, each mass maintains its own characteristics and qualities even after having mixed with other masses.